Hello, podcasters and PodFest China. I'm Joel Zuckerman, Vice President of New Platform Partnerships at NPR. We're a radio network of more than 250 stations, but we're also among the largest podcasters in the world, with popular shows such as Up First, Planet Money, How I Built This, Code Switch, Fresh Air, and the TED Radio Hour.
Hello, PodFest China and Chinese podcasters. My name is Neil Carruth. A bit about me, I'm the Senior Director for On-Demand News Programming at NPR. I'm responsible for NPR's news podcasting portfolio, which includes short-form daily shows like Up First and Shortwave. It also includes seasonal shows like Invisibilia and Rough Translation, as well as the Planet Money franchise.
Hello, PodFest China and Chinese podcasters. I'm Brian Moffett, Chief Operating Officer of National Public Media. We are the sponsorship sales subsidiary of NPR and handle sponsorship sales across everything NPR does, including podcasts.
Our mission at NPR is, in partnership with our member stations, to reach as many people as possible with high-quality, fact-based journalism and cultural programming to lift the spirits and create a more informed society.
播客制作者如果想逐步调整自己的节目定位，需要做哪些事情？
Well, that's such a great question, and it is central to the work that we do at NPR. It's fair to say that we have an audience-first approach to our work in podcasting. Sometimes the target audience comes first, sometimes the idea comes first, but we would never launch a show without knowing something about the audience we aim to serve. Knowing the audience you intend to serve informs a whole host of decisions about the show you are making, from the talent involved to the format of the show, kinds of stories the show tells, or the conversations that it presents. Once we've made those decisions and gone through a rigorous process to launch the show, we always conduct an audience survey to learn as much as possible about the audience and assess whether we have reached the audience we were aiming to serve. We continue to track that audience over the life cycle of the show and closely follow audience growth and audience engagement.
嵌入式广告和动态广告哪一种更适合播客？
NPR uses both baked-in and dynamic ads, and I think both will remain in our toolkit for a long time. We use baked-in mid-rolls for most of our shows because they offer 100% reach against the audience for the sponsor. Now for pre-roll, post-roll, and then older episodes we just talked about, the inventory is dynamic and served by our ad server. This dynamic inventory has the benefit of more precise scheduling for campaigns and allows for targeting across selections of podcasts or even the entire network, and also allows us to use third-party data to target specific audiences. Whichever model you choose, it's very important to have your ads match the tone and style of your podcast and not be interruptive.
因为中国企业近几年也开始踏入到品牌播客的领域了，但是说实话，它的影响力还是比较有限的。所以想请问一下，一个品牌播客应该如何去适应市场，做到既能用优质的内容吸引到听众，同时又可以使品牌自身的价值主张深入到听众的心里呢？
It's still really early days for NPM in the branded podcast space, but our philosophy is the same for any podcast. It has to be helpful or entertaining for a specific audience. And with branded podcasts as a business, it's critical to set the expectations properly with the advertiser. The key question is, how valuable is creating a deep connection with a few thousand listeners, maybe 10,000 listeners? And to some brands, that's going to be incredibly valuable. To others, not so much. So for that latter group, we have a suite of custom audio sponsorship products that are much lower effort than a branded podcast. We find that for most of our sponsors, the best answer is a scalable campaign with some custom audio and then a lot of high-quality media to run those spots against.
现在的播客平台很多，但大体形式相似，这会如何影响播客的发展？ NPR 对播客的未来有哪些设想？
So for NPR, if listeners choose to listen on Apple, Spotify, or independent mobile apps, or whether they listen via voice assistants on Amazon Music or Google Podcasts, ensuring they have access to our content is foremost for us. But we're living in an on-demand, personalized world. And to that end, we see the rise of platforms that are most able to provide value to listeners and monetization to publishers, either through best-in-class experiences or the contexts in which a user is listening. They'll all want you on their platform, but listening will continue to be diffuse and determined by context, whether you listen primarily on your phone, in your car, on a smart speaker powered by a voice assistant, or whether you already happen to be there. We'll see the rise of non-audio first companies like the New York Times and Netflix increase investment and continue to grow in importance in the space. And as we expect the world becoming closer and closer together, at a time when the Korean television show Squid Games is #1 in the United States on Netflix, it's much easier to imagine a Chinese podcast topping the charts in the United States, or for that matter, for an American podcast to be #1 in China.